Hello and welcome back to the dugout. This is the Hibs section of the All 12 Team series we've been putting through. Obviously, the title only came to me over the last few days. So I've been recording these over the last couple of weeks, so it might not have the title in all of them, but that's the title that's come to me now. So today is the Hibs section, and we have on today to talk about Hibs. Charlie Banks, he's a regular on the Scottish Football Forums podcast. I've been on with him a couple of times myself, so a really good voice to come on and talk about everything Hibs. Charlie, how you doing, mate?
I am good, mate. Yourself?
I'm not bad. I'm not bad. I'm looking forward to the season starting. It feels like, with the Premier Sports Cup games happening, it feels like we're starting to get back into the swing of things.
It's been nice to even take in a few of the pre-season games as well. Just feels like it's weird over the summer, when like obviously the Club World Cup being on and the Women's Euros and stuff. It feels like obviously it's good to have football, but it's different when you watch your team. So as you say, delighted that the football's back and looking forward to the season.
Yeah, yeah. Chelsea versus PSG isn't it quite the same as Hamilton Accies playing Hearts or St Johnstone playing East Side or something like that.
Aye,
You know what I mean? It's just
aye, definitely.
a feeling. But yeah, we're here to talk about Hibs today. I think a good place to start would be a week today. You take on FC Midtjylland in the first leg of your qualifiers for the Europa League. First of all, that looks like a really tough tie. How are you feeling about it?
It's probably one of the teams that we wanted to avoid, to be honest. Obviously, we'd all geared up for 8 to 10 games in Europe, and then Aberdeen won the cup. So we've had to readjust our expectations. And obviously, Midtjylland are a very good team. I think they lost the league in Denmark by a point or two last season. So it's going to be a tough ask. But there's every chance, it's two one-off games. Obviously, the aggregate score is going to be hard. It's going to be hard to get through that. But no, I'm looking forward to it. Hibs don't get into Europe that often, so especially nowadays. So it's nice to see us on that stage again. But it's a tough ask to get through.
Yeah, and I was speaking about Dundee United earlier for the Dundee United episode, and the last time they were in Europe, they went out with kind of a whimper, as they did get hammered. It's a bit of I don't mean to bring up painful memories for you, but it's a bit of a similar story. So hopefully you can give a better showing of. Obviously, it was Aston Villa. It's very different to playing
Aye.
AZ Alkmaar in Dundee United's case, but hopefully you can give a better showing of yourselves this time.
Aye, we hope so. I mean, we gave a good account of ourselves down in Villa. We only got beat 3-0, but obviously the tie was over. Lost 5-0 at home. You're never, especially against Aston Villa, you're never turning that around. So, it would be nice to. I think the good thing for us is that we're away first. So if we can get a positive result over there, hopefully a sold out Easter Road will be like a 12th man almost. But you never know really. We could go over there and get hammered and then it's damage limitation at home. But my hope is that we can get a 1-0 or a 2-1 to ourselves first and foremost, but if not to them. Keep us in the tie to bring it back would be ideal. But like you say, Malmo, Aston Villa, we've been there and seen it with Hibs getting hammered in Europe, so hopefully a better showing.
Yeah. In terms of the season, and if you do progress into Europe, are you currently happy with the way the squad would be, or do you want any further additions? Are you worried about if you'd make it to a league phase that it could affect your league form?
I think there's always that niggling thought in my mind of if we get to the league phase, it would be, massive for us first and foremost. But I think looking at the squad just now, we'd probably need another 5 or 6 bodies in the door because, as you know, the past couple of years, Scottish teams have really struggled. Or the teams that aren't Celtic and Rangers have struggled with a Thursday, Sunday. So it would be probably needing 5 or 6 more if we were to get that far. But then you're sort of picking up who you can get that late on. So I think based on the squad just now, I think we're okay for the qualifiers. It's obviously a different story if we get into the league phase.
Yeah, definitely. Um, just moving on to like recruitment there. Just a wee before we get into like the sort of signings that you've made properly and talk about them, like the pros and cons, all that. I just want to touch on it there because you mentioned obviously earlier um, Aberdeen winning the Scottish Cup, uh, dumping you out of automatic league phase qualification, guaranteed league phase qualification rather. Uh,
Mhm.
and a player that has just come through the door for you was actually pictured, videoed rather, singing about that. What was your thoughts on the whole Jamie McGrath situation?
When I first seen it, I was like, "That's a bit silly. You've just signed for us." But then the more I thought about it, he hadn't signed for us Hibs properly yet, so it doesn't bother me at all. Like, I know some Hibs fans are a bit up in arms about it, but at the end of the day, he's just won the Scottish Cup with the team he was playing for. So I've I've not no bad feelings about it now. I think it'd be a different story if during the season he was filmed singing it. But I think really he was still an Aberdeen player, so it doesn't bother me. And to be honest, every new signing's got a point to prove when they join a club, so it's probably given him an even bigger point to prove with some of the support. But nah, it was listen, fair play to them. They won the cup. It doesn't happen very often when you're an on-old firm team, so he had every right to celebrate it.
Yeah, and I'm sure if he turns out the performances for Hibs this season like he did last season for Aberdeen, that everyone will quickly forget about that.
Aye, I mean, I've certainly forgotten about it, so I think I'm excited to see him at Hibs. So, no, as you say though, he's probably got some people that are still up in arms about it, so he's probably got a point to prove to them. But aye, if he turns in the performances we know he's capable of, then I think everyone forgets about it and everyone's delighted that he's playing for Hibs.
Okay, all right. Moving on to sort of the rest of the signings, obviously. The goalkeeping position's been a bit of an issue for a while. I must say, I was a big fan of sort of the what how do you say it, meteoric rise of Jordan Smith. I was getting behind him, sort of like a sort of an underdog story. But I think it was obvious that you did need to bring in a bit of extra goalkeeping hands because obviously Jordan Smith's decent, but then the rest not great at all.
Aye.
So you brought in Raphael Salinger. I I haven't seen him yet. I don't know if he's played in pre-season games. I'm just wondering if you've managed to see any of him and how's he been?
Aye, so he's played a few of them. I think they're splitting it between him and Smith to see who the number one choice is. But I seen him last week against Rottweiss and he played the full game and he looked all right. Commands his box well. He's pretty vocal as well and setting up his defence. He was a bit suspect for one of their goals, but I think that's just him getting used to the game up here and what have you. I would think, and he made a cracking penalty save at the end. So no, on early viewing, it looks a positive signing. It's obviously a big difference in pre-season to when we play Dundee in the first game of the season, for example. So no, I think the early signs are promising. It's just about how he builds on that. And for one, I'm hoping he's not another Joseph Bursick for last season because that was calamitous. But no, as you said there, I think it was important we did bring a goalie in early doors, and that was our first signing of the summer window that was there pre-contract. So nah, I was happy with it, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Joseph Barsic wasn't a great was the opposite of a great success story. Massive, sort of failure, and also as well you mentioned there, he was a bit suspect for one of the goals, but I feel like you can never take too much away from preseason games. I feel like
Aye,
it's
of
it's
course.
just about getting the players up to speed and fitness and sort of implementing new players to
Yeah.
managers kind of style. So hopefully, well, depending on how David Gray decides, maybe he'll be the man in between the sticks against Midtjylland, and you'll get to see what he's really made of.
Aye, I think. I mean, it's never a bad thing to have two decent goalies. So I do think there'll be. rotation this season. I think last season we stuck with Bursic for too long, and then we were never putting him back in once Smith got in, regardless of his form. So I think it's good that we've got those options that maybe we can rotate it for other like cup games or what have you. But no, I think Salinger's coming in to be number one. But obviously, I'm thankfully not the Hibs manager, so I'll leave that up to him to decide who gets that.
Moving on to the next signing, a player that actually my club Rangers were supposedly in for, came through the door at Hibs, and I think this is a fantastic signing. Every time I seen him play last season, he impressed me, especially against my club, and I've watched it. If I remember correctly, it was the 3-3 against Celtic at Dens. He was one of the standouts in that game as well. Josh Mulligan, just how are you happy with that addition?
Aye, over the moon, to be honest with you. I think couple of games against us last season, especially the one where they beat us 4-1, he ran the show. And he was a big part of them turning us over. So yeah, obviously he was really happy when the news broke that we were in for him, and obviously delighted to get it done. Seen him for the first time in the same game last week, and he was superb everywhere on the park, and isn't he scared to put a foot in, likes to break the play up and spray the ball. So no, I think he'll be a
Super
big player.
versatile as well. Super versatile. You can
Aye.
play him anywhere, and I feel like he'd give you like a really good performance.
Yeah, I think it's always hard when you sign a player for this league. Like, is it a case that they'll make the step up? But I've got every confidence that Josh Mulligan will make the step up naturally. I think he's the type of player that will.
Yeah, yeah, and he's 22 as well. I think was it. Am I making that up? Yeah, 22. Sorry, just had to double check that. No, but 22 years old. It's a really good age, and it's a guy that could be sort of stalwart in the Hibs squad for the next few years, or he could be a guy that an English Championship club, or I know the rest of the league hate this when the old firm raid the other squads, but even a guy that Rangers or Celtic could pick up and make Hibs a tidy profit in the next few years.
I think that's probably the way that we should be operating. Well, actually, it's probably the way that most teams in the league should be operating now. Is you get them when they're in their formative years, and you develop them and you sell them. I think you've just got to look at Lennon Miller at Motherwell, for example, how he'll make them millions when he leaves, whether it be this summer or not. But I think you're right. I think Mulligan will make us a decent bit of cash when he leaves. Hopefully not next summer, but probably in a couple of years' time. But I think he'll make us a fair few pound.
Yeah, and obviously Lennon Miller's sort of an exceptional young player, but I think from the sort of fees that I've seen floating around, I feel like Scottish football and for like players who have been linked to like moves away from Rangers and Celtic who would maybe go for 10 million a couple of years ago are now going for 15, 20.
Yeah.
I feel like the Scottish game is finally starting to catch up with like the rest. There's still obviously a distance because I feel like in terms of we're not that far. This might sound really silly, but I don't think we're that far off leagues like the Dutch league.
Yep.
And you look at the fees that sort of their players kind of command, and I feel like the Scottish game's been undervalued for a while, and just
Aye.
seeing these sort of fees being touted for these players, it could be a good sign for the future.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Like we sold Dylan Benty in the summer there for just over a million, maybe just under, and he scored 13 goals in the Eredivisie last year, and that's not a lot of money, considering how many goals he scored. So, like you say, there's still a wee way to go, but I think we're on the trajectory to get there in the next couple of years at least.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Now on to the big one. I'm going to butcher this. Thibault Clige, I think that
That's how I'm saying it. So you've nailed it as far as I'm concerned.
Thibault Clige signing from Luzerne in the Swiss league. Togo, Togo. I don't know if he's an international, but I don't know if he's played for them. Sorry. Oh yeah, Togo international. Scored 12 goals and grabbed 3 assists, and Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe your club record signing.
I finally spent £1 million, which I thought was getting closer, but I didn't expect it this window at least. But no, it's a big signing. It's not very often that a team like Hibs break their transfer record, so he's probably got a lot of expectation on his shoulders now, which might be unfair. But when you're a club record fee, you probably have that added extra pressure on yourself. But no, it's good. I know nothing about the guy. I've seen his highlight reel and looks decent, but obviously you never see the blooper reel. So we might have signed a guy who will score 2 goals this season. We'll see how it goes. But no, I think from what I've read online as well, he likes to hold the ball up and brings others into the play. So that's important, especially in our league. I think a lot of teams like to play the ball on the deck. So no, I think if we can chip in with goals and assists, I think we've found a winner.
Yeah, and I think with your sort of profile of players that you have, you've got a lot of good runners off
Yeah,
the and if he can bring them into play, that could be devastating. And at times last season, we've seen it. I was begrudgingly a fan of Hibs' style of play after that kind of horrible spell at the start.
yeah,
Uh, and credit, well, I think credit to the board for sort of sticking by David Gray, and he turned it
yeah,
around and turned into one of the best attacking teams in the league and one of the most exciting teams to watch.
yeah. No, definitely. I think all it took was one formation change, and it sort of clicked for us. So I think that'll be the formation we'll go with again this season. But you're right. I think Hibs are really exciting to watch after Christmas, at least. Uh, Even in the games we lost, like the cup game at Celtic, we still gave a good account of ourselves, and you know we lost to Aberdeen in the split, but even still, we still had enough chances to win the game. So I think we have got a lot more steel about us, and if we can bring players in that are going to bring others into the game, then there's no reason why we shouldn't get excited about that.
Yeah. I want to talk about a couple of sort of big extensions. You've blurred your background now, but obviously I saw it before on your wall. Rocky, one of the biggest sort of turnarounds I think I've seen from a player going from a bit of a laughing stock who was viewed as a bit of a bomb scare, bought by accident. Um, and now he's in last season he was getting shouts for team of the season nominations, and he's become a player that you guys really that as a support was crucial to you to extend, and he has. How happy are you with that?
Oh, over the moon, Rocky's probably my favourite Hibs player. So it was a bit of a worry this summer when it kept lingering on and he'd no signed. There was obviously rumours all summer that he had signed. And no, it's great to get it done. I think continuity is a big thing for us just now. I think, we've seen it year after year where we're on the turnover of players and we're starting from scratch. But really, this season feels like it's not a big a turnaround as first thought. Maybe November time last year where we thought, oh, we'll be losing our whole squad and need to start again. Whereas now we've brought in, I think, 4 players so far, and the squad's virtually the same, minus a few players. So it's great. We're making sensible decisions. As you said, Rocky had the turnaround of I've not seen it ever in a Hibs player, that turnaround. So it was important that we got him done, and I'm delighted that he's staying.
It's amazing as well because I feel like he's quite a likable guy, and you like to see likable guys succeed as well. You know what I mean?
Of course he loves Hibs, which is a big thing as well. It's I think there's few and far between now players actually fall in love with the club they're at. So um, it's great, and he loves Edinburgh, loves Hibs, so it made sense I think for him to stay and a good chance to go to the World Cup with DR Congo if they make it. So the future's bright for him, and I'm glad it's in a Hibs jersey.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that is that he's because I always remember him from FIFA with the Belgian flag, so I didn't realize
He's
that he could
he
represent the DR Congo.
he declared for Congo and he made his debut in the last internationals, I think.
Oh,
So
right.
he's I mean, if he continues this vein of form, there's no reason why he will only go to the World Cup next summer. So that's great. Great for him, great for Hibs as well, because,
Yeah,
we get, I think clubs get money if their players go to the World Cup. So it's great for us, great for the league as well. If most of our players are going to the World Cup, it's huge for the league. So no, I'm delighted he's here. Delighted he's still putting on the Hibs jersey every week.
yeah. And another one would be, well, I think there's a couple, but Jordan Obita extended until 2027. To me, from obviously I don't watch Hibs every week. I won't claim to, but from what I've seen, he just seems solid.
Yeah, he's a good squad option. He didn't get into the team a lot last season because obviously Nicky Cadden broke onto the scene and you're not dropping him unless he was injured. Of course, last season he broke his nose, so he missed a few weeks. But no, Bea's a great squad option. I think purely based on the fact of his age, he's probably got that. It's probably replacing Dwight Gale's experience in the dressing room now. And it's great. He obviously had another year, but he's made it 2 years left now. So I think he's probably at the stage of his career where he wants to start winding down a bit. So to have him for probably his last 2 years, I would say, is good. As you say, he's solid. He'll give you a 7 out of 10 most weeks. So that's a good player to have.
Yeah, and another one that I keep saying I'm a big fan of Hibs and all their players. That people might think I'm a Hibs fan in disguise. But another one that I am a big fan of, just I think once again, every time I've watched them, he's just got that sort of ability on the ball. Maybe not the pace that he used to have. Obviously, Junior Hoylett extending again, and yeah, he's just obviously he's 35 now, but he's one that has just been a really good player for many years. Obviously, has experience in the Championship, the Premier League, and I feel like he has just a good player to have in your squad.
A bit like Obita, he's probably not a guaranteed starter this season, but no, it's great experience to have. His football brain's incredible. Just the stuff he does on the ball. There's not many players in the Hibs team, especially that can do that. And he scored a few important goals last season, so I'm hoping he can chip in with a few more this season. Again, like Rocky, it was a bit uncertain if he was staying because his family are down in London, so it was sort of a case of will he stay or will he want to be closer at home? But no, I'm glad he's staying. I think even just to get another year out of that experience is great, and it'll bring the younger lads on. So no, again, like I said earlier, smart business from Hibs, which is rare. So
Yeah.
I'm delighted. I'm delighted that he's staying as well.
Well, we talked about Rocky Bashiri's sort of turnaround. That I feel like Hibs' turnaround as a club, even in the last kind of year,
Yeah,
has been kind of insane to me. The way, because for a while it was really yo-yo. You were going through managers like a hot knife through butter. The signings didn't seem to be very well thought out.
yeah.
And now it seems like you have a clear strategy. You've got a club legend at the helm after the board stuck by him, and it feels like a positive feeling around the club.
I mean, this time last year we'd just lost to Kelty Hearts, so the the knives were out already. But it's incredible to see the turnaround in a year. Even 6 months really, if you look back to November time, we were bottom of the league and looking like we were heading for the drop. And then it all changed. That 3-0 game with Aberdeen was the catalyst for our season and probably the downfall for theirs. But no, it's great. I think it's very rare that Hibs give a manager a full season, especially in the past 10 years at least. There's not been many managers that have started and finished a season, so it's great. It's important we build on it. It's a hard ask to repeat this season, but I think with David Gray in charge, there's every chance that we give a good account of ourselves again. It'll obviously be hard to better last season because I think the only way we could better it is by having better cup runs, but because we're definitely not going to finish higher than third. No one is with the money that Celtic and Rangers have. But
Yeah.
if we can bridge the gap in terms of competing like we did last year, then I'd be delighted if we got another win over Celtic, win over Rangers. It's been a long time since Hibs have beat either of the old firms, so it's good to see that now. Last year we beat both of them, so I think that's important. And I think it's hard to underestimate how much respect David Gray commands as well. He's been there, he's done it, captained the club, when we won our first trophy, our first Scottish Cup in however many years. So I think he will probably bring a lot to the place, and I think players, it's hard not to buy into that.
Yeah, definitely. You touched on it a little bit there, about sort of the league. And you mentioned third would be what the best you would hope for. Is third an expectation for you, or is it more of a hope?
Um, so it's a good question. I think for me, my hope for the season is third. I think my expectation is that we improve based on last season, which I know is very difficult because I don't think we'll go on that 17 unbeaten run in the league. But in terms of improving, I would like us to get deeper in the cups. It's obviously hard with the draw. You can't predict who you'll get, but to no make it to Hampden last year sort of dampened the season a little bit.
Yeah.
So if we can, I would be happy with finishing fourth and get to the semi-final of both cups, and then ideally get to the final and win one or two of them. But if we can finish in the European places and get to Hampden in both cups, I'd be over the moon with that.
Who was it? It was, I know it was Celtic in one of the cups. Well, who was the other one that?
We got beat by Celtic in both.
Oh,
Because we lost to Kelly Hearts in the League Cup, we were unseeded and got Celtic, so it was a hard ask early in the season. But then there was a wee bit of hope going into the Scottish Cup game. We took 7,000 fans through to Celtic Park that day. Everyone had the same belief that we could go and win. But as I say, if you're getting Celtic in the cups, then you're at Celtic Park, especially you're up against it. So
I don't know if
my
I'm
hope,
mixing up games in my head here, but you were away. I'm pretty sure you were all right in that Scottish Cup game. It was you were wearing the orange, no, not the orange, sorry, the green and purple away kit, I think, and you were okay.
yeah, we were all right. We just didn't test the goalie enough. It's hard because we beat them 3 weeks before that, so it's probably like I'd rather have lost at Easter Road than won in the cup. But obviously, you can't change your results. So, no, it was. Listen, last season was great. It's important that we keep the momentum going because we can't afford to start the season how we started last season.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big must for the season. So, in terms of the teams around you, I would probably say two right now would be the ones that would be competing with Hibs. Aberdeen, I think they've signed really well this summer.
Yeah,
Quite a lot of their signings have impressed me. I've mentioned it on a couple of these episodes, and I probably will mention it during the Aberdeen episode if I manage to get someone for that. And your city rivals, Hearts, new manager, new sort of analytical approach to signing players. Obviously, you can't take too much away from it, but because it was Hamilton Accies, but they battered them, and one of their new signings came off the bench, got a goal and an assist in 25 minutes. And it looks like they've signed really well in the summer as well. So I think those are the two teams that you would be worrying about.
I think it's hard. It's hard because it's obviously a new manager for Hearts and what have you. And I guess it's a case of waiting and seeing with them. Obviously, Aberdeen, we know what we're getting with them. Colleen's been there a season, and I would say their league season was awful, but obviously they won the cup, so they forget all about that, and that rightly so as well. But I would say those two, and probably Dundee United will be in the mix as well. I would say I don't think they'll be pushing for third, but they'll definitely be pushing for fourth and fifth. I think the top six virtually makes itself up this season because I think Hearts and Aberdeen are strengthened. We've strengthened. Dundee United have improved. So I think it's going to be.
I
I
know.
think it's going to be those and yourselves and Celtic, of course, that'll make up the top six, and it'll be fighting out for third.
I don't know if this is because I've over the last year I've become good mates with a St Mirren supporter, but I just feel like you can't count them out with the quality of manager that they have. Like they may not have the best
Aye,
squad, they may not have like the outstanding. Like I feel like with Aberdeen, Hearts, and Hibs and all that, you can pick out like, oh, he's a really good player. Like obviously,
yep.
like Martin Boyle and maybe not so much last season, but Ellie Yuan's a good player. And then with Aberdeen, you can pick out good players in there, some good signings they've made. Hearts, you can pick out standouts. St Mirren isn't like that, but I just feel like as a unit, I don't think you can count them out.
No, they're definitely a workhorse of a team. They were the only team in the league that we never beat last season, which is mental to think about. And aye, they're always in or about it. I think that's that 2 seasons in a row they've been top six now, or is
Yeah,
it maybe three? I can't mind,
I
but
think it's two.
uh, yeah. So they've done superb. Stephen Robinson, as you said, is a great manager. I think you know what you're getting from St Mirren every time you play them. They're going to be hard to beat. They're going to be aggressive in the press, and they're going to make you work to get 3 points. So no, as you say, I don't. I think they'll be pushing as well. I think it'll be an exciting league. Definitely, I think be more exciting than last season, which might be hard to top last season, but I think it'll be a really good one.
Yeah, it's shaping up in that kind of pack to be really competitive. Just to sort of wrap us up and round it off, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here. I would like a prediction for all four competitions.
Uh, so League Cup, Scottish Cup, and Premiership and Championship. Is that what you want?
No, the your European competitions. I want your
Oh,
European
all right,
competitions.
man.
I should have made
So
that.
we've got Champions League.
Oh no! Just
Oh,
Hibs.
sorry, I've missed.
Hibs is
Oh, right. Sorry. Right, I understand now.
all the competitions Hibs are involved in.
Right.
Should
Okay.
have made that clearer.
Eh, I think we'll get to the Conference League playoffs.
Okay.
I'll say that. I think we'll just miss out on group stages or league phase or whatever it's called now. And I think we'll drop down at this round to the Conference League. So I think we'll get beat off Midtjylland and go get to the playoffs of the Conference League. League, I'll say I could put myself in danger of being wrong here, but I'm going to say third. Um, I think I think based on the signings we've made and the contract extensions, I think and potential other signings to come in, I think we'll finish third, which is a brave prediction, but I'm sticking with it. And League and Scottish Cup, I think we'll get to the final of the League Cup, and I think we'll get to the semi of the Scottish Cup.
All right. Okay. Uh, a fairly successful season there, hopefully for Hibs. Thank you, Charlie, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
No, of course, thanks for having me on.
And thank you to everyone for watching and listening. Go check out the Twitter at the Dugout 2024, where Ethan's been super active on there. And go check out the TikTok at the Dugout. I've been on there delivering daily news. And make sure to tune into Scottish Football Forums podcast, where you can hear Charlie giving all his expertise on there. But yeah, thank you to everyone. Goodbye.